The boy never imagined that just by staring at someone, he could immediately know their ability level. When Ars saw a soldier, he realized that the soldier was better suited for being a sapper. So, Ars walked straight up to him and suggested that the soldier change his class to an archer. The soldier thought Ars was joking. He believed that ranged weapons were weak and that men should use melee weapons. But Ars was a prince of the kingdom, and he was quite serious about having the soldier follow his advice. The soldier had no choice but to comply. However, what he didn't expect was that even though this was his first time using a bow, he hit the bullseye with perfect accuracy. The other soldiers around him were stunned, and no matter how many arrows the soldier shot, every single one hit the target precisely. The others were amazed and kept praising him. He also followed Ars's advice and became an archer. That evening, when Ars was having dinner, his father learned about the incident. He advised Ars to hone this talent for discovering potential, which was an essential skill for a noble lord. However, what his father didn't realize was that Ars's talent for identifying abilities wasn't based on intuition. It was actually his identification skill. Ars soon realized that even his father's abilities could be easily assessed by him. Not long after, Ars discovered a warrior who would follow him throughout his life. It turned out Ars was not from this world at all. He had originally been an ordinary person on Earth. Every day, Ars worked overtime and still played games when he got home. On the day he passed away from exhaustion, when he opened the door to leave for work the next morning, he suddenly collapsed and died right outside his house. When Ars opened his eyes again, he found himself transformed into the young master of a noble family. He was now only 3 years old. Over time, he came to understand the world around him. The country he lived in had unified the entire continent for 200 years. Even more remarkable, it was a world of swords and magic. Ars's family was an imperial noble family that governed a territory of about 1,000 people. Compared to his previous life, this new life was almost too good to be true. Ars felt extremely happy, but Ars soon realized something unusual. He knew his own future. The empire's long-standing corrupt government had led to numerous peasant rebellions, but the empire did nothing to address it. In the end, the nobles were forced to strengthen their own control. Ars had a premonition that this situation wouldn't last long. A large-scale war was inevitable. To protect his family and his own life, he, as a future lord, needed his own army. Luckily, Ars had the identification skill. As long as Ars started finding talented individuals now, he could lead them to victory in the coming wars. So, Ars went to the town that very day, planning to use his identification skill to find individuals with great potential. However, finding such people wasn't easy. Ars spent a long time using his skill without finding anyone promising, and eventually, his eyes began to hurt from overuse. Just then, a teenager was shoved out of a nearby restaurant. He was an outsider, someone who was despised by the empire's citizens. Most of the people from his homeland were sold as lowly slaves. Ars felt pity for him and kindly offered him some bread. This drew the attention of the people around them. But Ritsu, the boy, noticed Ars's noble appearance and didn't say much. Ars saw Ritsu take the bread, and that put his mind at ease. At that moment, Ars's identification skill activated automatically. To his surprise, Ritsu's ability level was exceptionally high. Ritsu had several talents at the S and A levels, which was rare, as most people were at D level. This overwhelming talent meant that Ritsu would be very powerful in the future. Before Ars could speak, Ritsu stood up and left. He thanked Ars for the bread before leaving, but Ars wasn't about to let him go that easily. He followed Ritsu. Ritsu told Ars not to follow him, warning that people would criticize him, but Ars insisted that Ritsu become his vassal. Ritsu thought Ars was just joking with him. It wasn't until Ars showed him his family crest that Ritsu realized Ars was serious. However, Ritsu still thought of himself as a worthless outsider, someone who had no real skills. Even if Ars took